6:30. So Vicky here says, I want to be able to see Africa. That's all. I just want to be able to see it. So like if we could go to Gibraltar and see it from there, or maybe we could stay in Spain because there's issues with taking this rental
Turn left onto Calle de la Cuesta Godoy.
into Gibraltar. So that somehow morphed into us actually going to Africa. So we're leaving this morning, driving to the ferry in, where is it? Tarifa? What is it?
Turn right
Tarifa.
onto
Is it Tarifa?
Historias.
And then, would you hush? I'm trying to talk. So we're taking a ferry from there to
Audio is set
Tangier.
to alerts only. Only important instructions will be announced.
Thank you for that. So where was I? We're taking the ferry over to Tangier. It's only 17 nautical miles, so that's pretty quick. And then we're doing a tour over there that's like 6 hours or something like that. Get back in Spain hopefully by 7 o'clock, and then drive back to our condo and get home maybe by 10. So it's going to be, I think, our longest day yet. And we'll see. Oh, there is a travel advisory from the U.S. State Department. It's a level 2 travel advisory that says increased awareness. The summary says because of terrorism and increasing plots of terrorism against Americans or anybody, tourists, I guess. So this is our last video. It's Vicky's fault. Well, we managed to make the ferry on time, and that's with us doubling back because I forgot my shoes. But we got there, they had a nice cafe, we had some coffee, but we spent a lot of time in line for this Moroccan police officer who had to check your passport. So I would say that we probably spent 30 to 40 minutes in line during the 1 hour trip on the ferry. I'm not sure about this sign. Cars are below and get seasick on the upper deck. We're coming into Tangier here, and when we got into the port there was this huge yacht. So I looked it up in the Marine Traffic app, and it's one of the largest private yachts in the world. 462 feet, 30 suites, and a crew of 56. It has an interesting history. It was a Dutch naval ship which was purchased for private use, and it wasn't large enough, so they extended the ship. Our tour guide was Mohammed, and he met us at the dock when we came in on the ferry, and he had a driver. And these two guys really made this trip a great experience. The driver was amazing in negotiating really bad traffic in the newer city, and Mohammed knew everybody. We felt like we were walking around with the mayor. Everyone had a kind word to say to Mohammed. All right, I don't know what to say about this. When she booked this last-minute trip to Africa, I said, oh, okay, I'm okay with the trip, but I'm not going to ride a camel. The things you get me into.
Little friend.
As part of our tour, we went to the caves of Hercules, and these caves date back to 6000 BC and were inhabited by the Neolithic people. It has an opening from land and it has an opening from the sea, and it's believed that the Phoenicians created the opening by sea, and that opening resembles the continent of Africa. For some reason, they always have you take a picture here. And I'm not sure why, but my nose does match up pretty well right there. Cave is both natural and man-made. The Berbers used rock from the walls to make wheels for millstones. So as a result, they made the cave larger than it initially was. The Strait of Gibraltar that we went through on the ferry coming over to Tangier, it connects the Mediterranean and the Atlantic Ocean. And this area has become infamous lately for orca attacks on sailboats. The day before we came over, orcas attacked a 50-foot sailboat in the Strait of Gibraltar and sunk it. And since 2020, there have been 700 sailboats that were attacked by orcas in the Strait of Gibraltar. By far my favorite part of our visit to Tangier was the Medina. And the Medina is the old city of Tangier. It's a walled-off city, part of a fortress that was built by the Portuguese in the 1500s. And when we first got to Tangier, they took us up above the city and showed us some huge mansions. They were walled-off estates that they told us were owned by Saudi royalty. Then we go down to the Medina, and that was so much more interesting. People down there were working hard, making crafts. There were markets. It was a vibrant place. I can't even really describe it to you. It was just incredibly interesting. And because we were there with Muhammad, and I mean, I told you before that he seemed to know everybody. Well, definitely true when we got down to the Medina, because he said he grew up there. He knew everybody and stopped and talked to just about everybody that we went by. So it was a great place to be with him because you felt incredibly comfortable, and he was able to give you all the insight into the city. Let me first say that it's impossible for me to give the history of Tangier justice here in this video, but it has an amazing history dating all the way back to the 10th century BC with the Phoenicians. The Romans were here, the Portuguese, Spanish, English. There was an international zone. During the international zone, Tangier was ruled by various colonial powers. That went on from 1925 until 1956, when Morocco finally gained its independence. When you combine the Medina with the new city and all the other developments, there's a population of almost 1 million. They're made up of Muslims, Christians, and Jews. And the Tangerians speak everything from Arabic, French, Spanish, and English. Included in the tour was lunch, and I don't know if the operator of the tour owned this restaurant. His name was Saeed, and we met him here, and we had a really nice lunch and French fries. French fries are really big in Spain and apparently in Tangier, so go figure.
Yellow color with what?
And the saffron, geez,
Saffron, yeah.
expensive.
So we have the, yes, we have the know. إن شاء الله هذوك الهضار معاهم. 5 days. This is goat cheese.
All right, I have to give Vicky credit. This wasn't on my radar. I really wasn't even thinking about going to Africa from Spain, and it turned out to be a great trip. So, Vicky comes up with these crazy ideas like swimming with the sharks in Bora Bora, or a prop seaplane in Dry Tortugas, and they end up being pretty fun. So I gotta say, this trip was very memorable, and we really enjoyed it. Hey, and thanks to Mohammed too. I mean, it can't really be overstated. I mean, when you're with somebody that is so familiar with a place, so comfortable with a place, so well known, that it really makes it a different experience. And to walk around the Medina with Mohammed was a special experience, and we really enjoyed the tour overall, but more specifically, we love being in the Medina and love being there with the mayor, Mohammed.